Woo, it's a cold one today. So I got the diesel heater on high, running off the old, what is that, 140 amp hour. It actually tested out just to be around 100 amp hours, a little over 100 amp hours, but it's rated for 140 amp hours. Anyways, running the diesel heater. I insulated my garage, as you can see, and it was very cold. You could see my breath in here when we started. It was probably like -5 or something like that. It's negative, and that's Celsius, sorry. It's a temperature outside, like -12 or something. Anyways, we are continuing the battery build. Just a quick one. I'm just skimming through it. And then we are going to repair that old, I guess it's what, 3 years old. It is Signier or Signier, or I'm not sure how you say the name, but it's a 6,000 watt inverter. The top's all peeling off because it was stored in an unheated location, so they're putting towels on it to keep it warm, but there's a few too many towels, and it actually got warm enough to actually delaminate it, so I'm going to glue that back down, make it look all pretty again. And what happened was the generator board, so that would be, where is it here? I got a tiny garage, so I got crap everywhere. So this side here, this is the switching board. This is where it does all of its controls, switching from generator power or grid power to inverter power. All the relays are on this board, and this board stopped working. One of the relays was just worn out because they use a generator to charge the batteries a lot. In wintertime, more or less, they run sole generator power and a little bit of solar when they get it. But anyways, one of the relays or something wasn't working here properly, and I had their old relay board. So when we first bought this inverter, it blew up almost immediately, and that's because this board here, I believe, was faulty. So I took that board, the first board that came in the inverter, because I wasn't sure if the board was shot or if it was just the MOSFETs that blew on this other board that's down here. This is the MOSFET board. So I took the original board, because I kept it just in case. I always keep stuff for spare parts, and I stuck it in the inverter hoping that it would work, but I did not think or even imagine that the dead short was in this board itself. So hooking up this board to the inverter, somehow it immediately blew up. So I'm going to be putting it back together. So the rebuild cost shipped to my house is $360 Canadian. So that's about, what, $280 American, something like that. And honestly, that's not bad for a rebuild. And for them, they use it pretty much 24/7, 365 days a year. And so to keep an inverter running non-stop for $360 every 3 years, I think is actually not a bad deal. It is not the highest end inverter. It is definitely not the lowest end inverter. It's a very, yeah, I'd say it's a mid-range inverter. And then we got a Gen3 solar inverter underneath it. We're still testing that. If that can make it past the 3-year mark, then we know we got a good inverter, because I consider this a pretty good inverter. They did warranty, when it blew the first time, they warranted the parts, so you just gotta take everything in life with a grain of salt. So that's what we're gonna do. Fix that inverter next. Okay, we got everything more or less ready and tidied up. I do like these new terminals I got. They're quite nice. I got a whole pack on Amazon. I think it came with all those. Not these ones, just all those other ones. I think that was 48 bucks Canadian. So what would that be? Something like 35 bucks American. Something like that. I thought it was a good deal. they're about 50 cents each or something. That's not a bad deal. Anyways, I think I'm ready to close this thing up. We got our Bluetooth hot glued. We got our temperature 1, temperature 2, both in. I found this nice little hole. I did not do this on the other batteries. The other batteries I put it on top. I found this nice little hole that goes a fair ways down, a little ½ inch down. Give me a little bit more accurate reading. And I don't like this BMS as much as the other ones I've been using because it only has 2 points of contact and you use the same size wire. So this will be 100 amps, but really pushing these wires. Like, they're going to get warm. They will get warm. So this, I would definitely not recommend this installed in a house or anything like that. If possible, always install separate from your house. I would definitely do that if I ever installed my system again. But anyways, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Now we're going to fix the inverter with those parts next. Let's start the repair on the Signier 6,000 watt split phase power inverter. Let's open her up. Oh, I'm getting too far ahead of myself. I went and took this board off. It was just right here. There's 4 screws. I undid all the connectors, took a picture. And here is the MOSFETs. Yeah, they did not have a very good day. Nope. And here's the MOSFETs on this side. There they are. I think the front ones might be okay, but the back ones certainly are not. Anyways, yeah, let's, you can see the caps fell off the capacitors for some reason. Maybe they just went right size and heat contraction. Oh, it looks like the heat shrink pulled down. So you know what? I bet you this got very warm and further heat shrinked the side. Because I don't think the fan was working right. So maybe the thermistor's no good, or maybe it was just the whole board. I don't know. Because the thermistor's right here. Might have to get a new one. We'll see. Anyways, let's continue. Okay, so we got the old ones here, all burnt up. We got the new one. Just started putting the screws in here, and we're going to start mounting everything up. The transformer is one of the most expensive parts, and that's why this thing is like, I think this thing is 1,300 American now, and to rebuild it is only 280 American to rebuild it. So it's not a bad inverter, and it's not a bad price. And yes, I was right. Look, see how the shrink wrap is? The other inverter, it stopped cooling itself, so that could be why components died. It stopped cooling itself properly, and it actually shrunk the shrink wrap on the capacitors to the point where the caps came off, which is hilarious. So I hope that this thermistor works and it was actually just the board, but we'll find out. Or maybe the fan's shot, I don't know. But it spins, so I don't know. We'll find out. Got everything hooked up. Let's open this up and take a little sneak peek. Uh-oh. There we go. 1 second there. Sorry about that. There we go. Everything's hooked back up. Now, the key to testing inverters. This is a big time, absolute has to happen, is you got to limit your whatever power supply you have or battery you're running. You got to be able to limit the current going in. I have 2 amps, so we're talking about 100 watts is the maximum that can go into this inverter. Let's see, everything's hooked up right. Okay, so if there's something wrong, it's the voltage on the output's going to go to 0. And just because there's only 2 amps coming in, and that will most likely not fry your MOSFETs. It still has the power of the capacitors for a quick surge, but still. So we're going to try this. And it seems to be working. We have, it's drawing 60 watts. Let's turn up the amps now that we know that it's working. We'll turn it up to about 9 amps. So now we can actually run something with it. But it looks good to go. Now I'm just going to double-sided tape this back down. And we got a working unit again. That's awesome. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video.